There is a power inside of you that you have likely misunderstood, a force you may have misused, and a gift that, when redirected, has the potential to transform your entire life. I'm talking about the energy of sex, and more specifically sexual transmutation, a principle introduced by one of the greatest minds in personal development history, Napoleon Hill. When Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich, he wasn't simply creating a book about money. He was documenting the psychological blueprint of the world's most successful men, 500 of them over 25 years, including industrial titans, inventors, presidents, and artists. Among all the principles he taught: desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge. There was one principle that made many readers stop in their tracks: the mystery of sex transmutation. Hill called sex the most powerful of human desires, and he was right. No other force can drive a man to conquer, create, pursue, or destroy like the energy of sexual desire. But here's what he discovered: those who master this energy and redirect it, those who transmute it, tap into a level of genius and ambition unreachable to the undisciplined man. What is sexual transmutation? Let's break it down. Transmutation means to transform the form or nature of something, in this case, sexual energy. Hill describes it as the process of channeling sexual energy away from physical expression and into the creation of wealth, art, innovation, genius, and legacy. He wrote, sex desire is not only physical but also emotional, spiritual, and mental. When harnessed, it can be transmuted into a powerful force capable of lifting one to great heights of achievement. Hill didn't say to suppress your sexuality. He didn't say to run from it. He said to redirect it, to harness it, to use it as fuel for your mission. The biology and psychology behind it. Now, why is this so powerful? Because sexual energy is creative energy at its most primal level. It is literally the power to create life. When that power is not used for physical reproduction, it doesn't disappear. It lingers in your body, in your mind, in your nervous system, and if you do nothing with it, it festers into frustration. But if you focus it, it becomes rocket fuel for achievement. Modern science backs this to high levels of testosterone. When unspent, increase drive, aggression, focus, and willpower, you become more alert, more hungry, more intense. But here's the key. It only works if you redirect the energy into something greater than yourself. Otherwise, you stay trapped in lust and indulgence. Hill's observations of great men in Think and Grow Rich. Hill says something profound. The men of greatest achievement are men with highly developed sex natures, men who have learned the art of transmuting their sex energy into creative and productive outlets. He names examples: Napoleon Bonaparte, who channeled his passion into warfare and empire building; George Washington, who was known for his intense discipline and loyalty; Thomas Edison, whose tireless invention process Hill attributed to sublimated sexual energy; Abraham Lincoln, who Hill said had an intense sexual nature, but directed his fire toward vision, justice, and purpose. In every case, these men were not void of sexual desire. They simply refused to let it rule them. The danger of undirected sexual energy. Let's not dance around the truth. The majority of men today are ruled by lust. Porn addiction is rampant. Instant gratification is normalized. Discipline is mocked. And we wonder why men feel depressed, unfocused, and unfulfilled. Napoleon Hill warned us, most men never learn to control their sex impulses. When driven by this desire, they lose control of reason and act on impulse. He wasn't condemning sex. He was elevating it. He was saying, if you let this run wild, it will burn your life down. But if you train it, tame it, transmute it, it will become the engine of your destiny. Transmutation in action, how to apply it today. So how do we actually practice sexual transmutation in modern life? Let me give you a framework. See, Human retention builds the pressure. This doesn't mean permanent abstinence. It means you stop casually wasting your energy every time you release without purpose. You lower your vitality, your focus, your testosterone, your drive. Try 30 days without porn. Try 30 days of intentional discipline. Watch how your mind sharpens, how your body feels more alive, how your hunger increases. That pressure inside you, that's your fuel. Redirect the energy when desire rises. Don't suppress it, redirect it. Use that surge to work harder in your business. Train harder in the gym. Study, build, create, plan, speak boldly, walk confidently, lead with vision instead of temptation. Napoleon Hill said, "A man who has developed the art of transmuting sex energy will find that this energy becomes the fuel for all of his accomplishments." Choose a higher purpose. Sexual energy needs a container. If it has no mission, it defaults to indulgence. You must give it a direction. Ask yourself daily, what am I building that's greater than my next release? If your answer is vague, you'll stay stuck in the cycle of temporary pleasure and permanent regret. But if you're building something, a business, a brand, a legacy, then every ounce of discipline becomes sacred. Napoleon Hill's final warning and promise near the end of the chapter, Hill writes, "Sex energy is the creative energy of all geniuses. There never has been and never will be great leader, builder, or thinker without sexual energy." It is not optional. If you want to become great, it is required. But here's the choice. You can indulge your desires and stay where you are. Or you can transmute your energy and become something the world has never seen. The disciplined man will always outlast the distracted one. Master the fire. To every man listening, you are not weak because you feel desire. You are not shameful because you crave intimacy. You are powerful because you carry the most sacred force in the universe. But power without direction is destruction. Sexual transmutation is not just a tactic. It is a philosophy, a lifestyle, a sacred choice to use your God-given energy to build, not waste, to lead, not lust, to focus, not fall, to create a legacy, not just release tension. Napoleon Hill gave us the blueprint. The rest is up to us, so I ask you now, will you master the fire or will it master you? The choice is yours. There is a hidden force within you, a drive so ancient, so raw that it once dictated the very survival of our species, and yet this same force, when redirected, can create art, fuel ambition, build empires, and shape the course of human history. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, gave a name to this transformation. He called it sublimation. And tonight we're going to dive deep into what it is, how it works, and how you can use it to transform your own life. Understanding sublimation, Freud's psychological alchemy. Let's begin at the root. In Freud's psychoanalytic theory, human behavior is driven by unconscious desires, primarily the libido, or sexual drive. This is not limited to physical intimacy. Freud believed the libido represented life energy, a fundamental force behind our motivations, behaviors, and emotional patterns. But here's the catch. Society does not allow us to express this energy in its rawest form. If every human acted on every impulse, lust, aggression, domination, we'd collapse into chaos. So what happens to all that repressed desire? Does it vanish? Freud said no. Instead, it gets redirected. It gets channeled into socially acceptable and often highly productive outlets. This process is what Freud called sublimation, the transformation of base instinctual energy into refined higher pursuits like art, science, leadership, innovation, and spirituality. In simple terms, sublimation is the conversion of desire into discipline, lust into legacy, impulse into impact, sublimation versus suppression. The key distinction here's where many get it wrong. Sublimation is not suppression. Suppression pushes desire down, hides it, pretends it doesn't exist. But like a shaken soda bottle, suppressed energy builds pressure and often explodes in unhealthy ways: addiction, rage, breakdowns. Sublimation, on the other hand, is conscious redirection. It acknowledges the existence of the desire but guides it into a form that uplifts the individual and society. Let me give you an example. A man with aggressive instincts may become a soldier, a boxer, or a firefighter. A woman with intense erotic energy may become a dancer, a fashion designer, or an actress. A person obsessed with control might become a CEO or a systems engineer. A teenager consumed with lust may start painting, writing poetry, composing music, or building a business, transmuting what Freud called the sexual instinct into creative mastery. Sublimation is not about moralizing. It's not about shame. It's about using your inner chaos as a ladder toward greatness, the role of the libido in human achievement. Freud believed that sublimation was the foundation of civilization itself. He wrote in Civilization and Its Discontents that without sublimation, culture could not exist. There would be no symphonies, no cities, no literature, no science. Because all of it is built on the same basic mechanism, turning primitive energy into elevated expression. Think of the great artists, inventors, and philosophers. Michelangelo, who spent 4 years painting the Sistine Chapel ceiling, channeling his intensity into sacred art. Nikola Tesla, who was celibate for most of his life, pouring his energy into his inventions. Ludwig van Beethoven, deaf, isolated yet composing masterpieces of raw emotional power. Freud himself, whose relentless investigation of the human mind changed how we understand ourselves forever. These were not men without passion. They were men who transcended passion by harnessing it. Sublimation in the modern world. Why it matters now more than ever in today's culture of hyperindulgence. We are told, if you feel it, act on it, follow your impulses, do what feels good. And yet, more people than ever are anxious, depressed, unfulfilled. Why? Because a life of unchecked desire leads to emptiness, but a life of sublimated desire that leads to meaning. Freud warned that when societies remove the pressure to sublimate, they regress. Creativity declines, discipline evaporates, genius dies. Look around. We are drowning in dopamine, scrolling endlessly, binging distractions, addicted to validation, numbing our primal energy instead of forging it into power. If Freud were alive today, he might not be shocked. He predicted it. But he would also remind us the goal of life is not to kill desire. It is to elevate it. How to practice sublimation in your daily life. Let's make this practical. Here are 5 ways to start sublimating your energy right now. Acknowledge the drive. Don't suppress your urges, observe them. Become aware of when you feel aggressive, lustful, obsessive. Don't act. Just notice. Awareness is step 1. Create a higher outlet. Give that energy a home. Start writing, start building something. Train harder at the gym, pick up an instrument, launch your idea. Commit to mastery of a skill. Make your mind say, when I feel that desire, I go here. Delay gratification. Freud believed that sublimation was only possible if a person could delay gratification. Train your ability to wait, to sit with the feeling, to not scratch every itch. This builds psychological muscle and with it, depth. Build rituals of channeling. Have a morning routine that channels energy into creation. This could be a power hour of journaling, reading, and reflection. Studying a difficult subject, working on your business before checking your phone. Every ritual becomes a valve through which you redirect your energy upward, elevate your environment, surround yourself with symbols, art, music, and people that remind you of your higher nature. Sublimation is harder in environments that normalize indulgence, but when you live in a culture of elevation, you rise with it. The alchemy of the mind. To sublimate is to take something instinctual and transform it into something immortal. It's the essence of art, the secret behind discipline, the foundation of leadership, the root of genius. Sigmund Freud gave us many controversial ideas, but this one was a gift because it means that no matter how dark, primal, or chaotic your inner world may be, you have the ability to shape it, sculpt it, use it, and like a blacksmith turning heat into steel, you can turn your desire into destiny, your weakness into will, your craving into creation. That is the power of sublimation. Use it well. Thus, remember, we are in Deceptor,